Hello pre-algebra students, welcome back. Happy Monday. We are going to be learning 3-5 solving inequalities using multiplication or division, and we will be working on this for Monday and Tuesday at least. So refer to this video if you need to later in the week. The first type of problem I will ask you to solve for says tell whether the given number is a solution of, and in this case we're going to do if it's a solution of negative 1 8/10 times x is less than negative 14. The first number I'm going to ask you if it's a solution for, so this is our example 1, is negative 5. So you're supposed to plug in negative 5 into your equation, or your inequality, excuse me, okay, and then determine if it's true. Is that a true statement? Well, what I noticed right off the bat is that a negative here, negative times a negative is going to give me this positive number. And what I noticed off the bat is positive number has to be greater than negative 14. So I know right off the bat that this is no, that it can't be true. I don't even have to solve it. All right, let's do one more example. Let's say I have 2 1/10. I'm going to plug that into my inequality. I'm asking myself, is this true? In order to multiply these two decimals, I forget about my signs for a second. I multiply like normal. And I get 3 7/78. Then I go back and look at my signs. I have a positive and a negative, so it should be negative 3 7/78 is less than negative 14. The answer is still no, because negative 14 should be smaller than. All right, now to the meat of the new material. It's solving using multiplication. So we'll get to division in just a second, but there's one really, really important key that you need to remember with inequalities. When I'm looking at this, I need to solve it. And so I'm kind of doing it like normal. I need to isolate m. So in order to do that, since this is division, I need to multiply both sides by negative 3. All right, so then I get m over here, and on this side, I'm left with 9. But the difference is, from this versus when an equation happens, I would just keep my equal sign. When I am dividing, multiplying or dividing anything by a negative number, that flips my sign. So instead of m is greater than negative 9, it's m is less than 9. This is my answer. If I were to say, let's see, if I had m over 3 like this, then I would have to multiply both sides by positive 3, and then my answer would look more like m is greater than positive 9. All right, but I was originally left with negative 3, which means m is less than negative 9. Okay, just to give you another example to make sure we're on the same page, let's say I have x divided by 4 is greater than 8. In order to get rid of this 4, I'm going to have to multiply both sides by 4. So then I have x, well, I'll get to my sign in a second, and then 32 over here. Because this is a positive number, my inequality stays the same. So dividing each side of an equality by a positive number, dividing or multiplying, okay? So anytime I divide or I multiply the inequality by a positive number, then that's going to produce an equivalent inequality. I don't have to do anything with my sign. It stays the same. Now, if I had the example of, let's say I had x divided by negative 5 is less than 7. Okay, in order to solve for this, I multiply both sides by negative 5, but now I'm doing this by a negative number. So now my sign is going to flip. So now I'm going to have x, this is less than here, so it changes to greater than because I'm multiplying it by a negative number, and then I get negative 35. Okay, if you need to rewatch that, please feel free to pause or stop this and replay it at any time. Right now I'm going to move on to solving using division. Alright, so it's this very similar concept. Let's say I have the example of negative 10 times t is greater than or equal to 34. Okay, in this case, in order to solve, I need to divide both sides by negative 10. So then I'm left with t on this side. 34 divided by 10, I can do that in my head. I know it's going to be negative 3 4/10. If you can't do that in your head, you can always work it out. Now, because I'm dividing by a negative number, that changes my inequality sign. So now t, instead of t being greater than or equal to negative 3.4, t is now going to be less than or equal to negative 3 4/10. On the flip side, let's say that I had 10b is less than or equal to negative 45. Now, in order to isolate b, I divide both sides by 10. I'm left with b over here. I'm left with negative 4 5/10 on the right side. My sign stays the same because I'm dividing it by a positive number. So now the inequality is b is less than or equal to negative 4.5. If I wanted to graph this, I would draw a number line. I would write negative 4.5 somewhere on that. B is less than or equal to, so then I have a dot that's filled in on 4.5. Less than is over here. That's how I would graph the inequality. Okay, so now let's do a couple checkpoints. So I want you to try these on your own. I'm going to go over them and have the answers in here, but try them on your own, see if you're ready to do the classwork. The first one, it says, the directions say, solve the inequality, graph your solution. So you must first solve the inequality. You get a variable is less than or equal to or greater than or whatever your inequality sign is with a number, and then you also have to graph your solution. So the first one, n divided by 6 is greater than 7. Okay, so try this one on your own. I'll go ahead and write the second one. At the top, it's t divided by negative 4 is less than or equal to 8. Okay, so if you were starting right now, I would pause the recording or pause the video so that you don't have the answers given to you right away. Just resume whenever you have your answers. Alright, here are the answers. Number 1, n is greater than 42. Number 2, t is greater than or equal to negative 3. You also had to graph for number 1 and 2. So draw a number line. You write 42. It is not equal to, so it's an open circle, and n is greater, so the arrow is to the right. For number 2, we draw a negative 3. It's greater than or equal to, so we fill that circle in, and then we draw an arrow to the right. Okay, moving on to the last types of problems you're going to see over the next 2 days. You're going to have words like this example here. 3 times a number is more than negative 18. And you have to write an inequality based on those words. So 3 times a number, I don't know what that number is, so that's my variable, is more than, so is greater than, not equal to. So it's just the greater than symbol, negative 18. It's also going to ask you to then solve for the inequality. In this case, I have 3 times x. So let me put this here as kind of the first thing you have to do. So now I know I need to divide both sides by 3 so that I get x. My sign stays the same because it's a positive number that I'm dividing by. Negative 18 divided by 3, that's going to be a negative 3. This is my second part that I need to have. Okay, that's all the lesson for today and tomorrow. Please refer to my office hours and times if you need any extra help or any extra guidance. Please Google chat, or we can try Hangouts. I do have, all my devices are Apple, so I can FaceTime pretty easily. If you shoot me an email, we will be able to set something up and figure it out. Good luck this week. I will keep posting stuff as soon as I can, so that way those that want to work ahead may. I hope you have a fabulous week, and I really hope we have school next week so I can see all of you guys again. All right, see you later. Adios.